Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Life with Shanita talk show. This is week 5, and I would like to welcome you all again for taking the time out to be a part of this important conversation about getting your affairs in order. I am so excited that you decided to join me and our guest speakers. We have the privilege of having some phenomenal individuals to share wisdom and knowledge and experience tonight. We have the owner of Watkins Funeral Home, Jonesboro, Mr. Anthony Watkins, that will join us this evening. We also have Ms. Shamika A. Jones with Mainspring Consulting that will join us and share her personal experience in the recent loss of her father. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. As I've said in previous shows, I got to this place in my life because of losing my husband in 2015. I'm approaching year number 5 as a widow and the loss of my best friend. And so by no stretch of the imagination has it been easy for me, but God has given me the strength to keep moving forward and to be a light to others. So I hope that my sharing, my story, my experiences, my downfalls, us not having our affairs in order, that it will prompt you to get your affairs in order, that you will take the time necessary to move from knowing what to do to doing what's necessary for your family and your loved ones. The goal of this show is to encourage people to overcome life's challenges. We all know that in life we're going to be faced with challenges, but how do we recover and overcome them? I'm hoping that Life with Shanita will be an opportunity or a partnership as you continue on your life journey to help you move past your obstacles and decide to live a vibrant life. Is Your House in Order mini-series? I'm hoping again that it will help you to prepare for the inevitable. We all know that there's a exit on this journey. We just don't know when. And so if we take the time to be prepared, it will leave our family members in a better position. So I'm hoping that through these mini-series broadcasts that you will jot down notes, you will take advantage of the resources, the individuals who have shared, and sit down and talk with them, whether it's the funeral home, whether it's the financial advisor, whether it's the life insurance agent, whether it's the lawyer, whether it's the doctor, the banker, or whatever you need to do to get your affairs in order, that you will do just that. This show airs weekly every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to sit and watch this broadcast. So in keeping with our timeline, I am so excited to introduce my friend, Mr. Anthony Watkins, the owner and operator of Watkins Funeral Home, Jonesboro, who I've had the privilege of knowing since 2004. And so with that being said, sit back and enjoy the conversation as we welcome Mr. Watkins. Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Shanita.
How are you?
Fine, fine, ma'am. How are you today?
I am well. I am well. I'm so honored to have you here. As I was telling the audience just now, we go way back to 2004 when I first met you. Didn't know anything about the history of Watkins Funeral Homes in Atlanta, but I had the privilege of getting to know you through the grassroots program in Clayton County. So we've been on this journey for quite a few years, and so I'm grateful to call you my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Yes. So I would like for you to just introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Well, audience, good. I'm Anthony Watkins, the president of Anthony L. Watkins Funeral Home in Jonesboro, Georgia, and well, the name is Personal and Professional Services. We've been in this industry, the funeral business, well over 30 something years now. My family and I. That's all we know is insurance and funerals, and also I'm a licensed insurance agent also. And so our goal, we feel that what we do is a ministry. This is something that we feel that we've been called to do because this is a sacred trust that families give to us to take care of their loved one. So we don't take it lightly. We appreciate every family give us the opportunity to serve. And like I say, our motto is serve with compassion. And our job is that we want to make sure we get the family through this last time to give their loved one a very fitting and a very nice homegoing service. Thank you.
Amen. I can say that from personal experience, you handled my husband, and I remember, him and I having the conversation about you caring for him. And I remember walking into to view his body before we presented it to the public, and I was so at peace. And so I thank you.
Kind of on mute, Shanita.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what happened, but I was saying that I thank you for taking the time to care for my husband in a manner in which it has left a lasting impression on me. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. He was my friend also too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So let's start the conversation. So we've talked about pre-planning for funerals. Why should a person pre-plan for their funeral?
Well, basically, what pre-planning does, it relieves the stress. You're leaving really a legacy for your family to carry out your wishes, which is your last will and testament. What pre-planning does, you pretty much plan your own funeral. It's your funeral. It's what you wanted. It's your color casket. It's your service. And what that does, that alleviates the problem. Sometimes we find out families, mama wanted, or daddy wanted this color casket, I want to wear this color suit. What pre-plan does, you pre-plan your own funeral. In your right frame of mind, you write down everything you want to have happen, how you want it to be carried out, what song you want sung, what scripture you want read. So the same thing that your family would normally come in and do, you do it yourself. And that way, that leaves, no stone unturned, and there has to be, nobody be concerned about did we do the right thing. And a lot of people say, you can spend as much you want on funeral, or at least you want a funeral, but it's your funeral, so you won't worry about people worry about emotional spending sometime. But if you pre-plan it yourself, then it's your service. Can nobody argue with it because this is what you wanted.
Amen. I was thinking about, it's like a gift. Pre-planning to me reminds me of giving a gift of love, because I have taken the time to take care of everything regarding my homegoing services. So all my family has to do is just carry it out, as you said. So because I love you, and I know that, during that time when you lose a loved one, you're not really in a emotional, healthy frame of mind. And so if those things are already taken care of, then I can just grieve in peace without worrying.
Right.
So, I think it's a token of love that we can give to our family members when we have taken the time to sit down, talk about what our desires are, and truly the family members are able to just carry it out. So when we think of pre-planning, how extensive is that? Is it just us sitting down and writing it out, or is that sitting down with you and truly planning it out? What does that look like?
It's really sitting down and plan. It's the same thing your family would do if you didn't have a pre-plan. We go through the whole thing as if though you had died already, lack of better choice of word. We're gonna go through everything that we'll normally go through if it was an at need versus a pre. At need meaning the person is passed and we sit down and make an arrangement. Pre need, that's what we're doing, and we go through everything as far as the clothing you're gonna wear, programs. We fill all your programs out. We do everything that your family normally would do that you would do. That's why we say, and you're right, it is a token of love. We call it a legacy of love, because the one you are relieving that burden. Knowing what happens when someone, passes and don't have it pre-planned. I mean, everybody's emotions are running and people are calling, the phone ringing, and you say, well, I got to go to the funeral home, make a ring. I got an appointment there. But if you're a pre-plan, all you have to do then is tell us what day it's going to be on. We're going to have it on this day. The arrangements have already been made. All you have to do now is just bring the clothes. You can bring the clothes early if you want to. We'll hold them for you until such time, if that's what you choose to do. But pre-plan relieves all the stress that people normally have to go through when they have to plan a funeral service. So, even though we're in the business, even when my mama passed, 2006, we in the business, she pre-planned. And she told me everything was at. She written down what she wanted, how she wanted, the cash she wanted, and we've been in the industry. We made it quite easy and natural to us, because you're trying to bury your own loved one. You grieve also like everybody else. I tell you, we're not immune to this business. We grieve also when we lose loved ones or friends or family. But our job as professionals is to get the family through the grieving process, or at least on the funeral side, to bury loved ones. So I say pre-need is something that it alleviates a lot of concerns, a lot of arguing, a lot of fussing, and what have you. Everybody come together. This is mama, dad, sister, brother plan. This is what we're going to do, and it makes it easy for everybody.
Totally agree. And I even would say that as we pre-plan and we gather all those things together, that we have a family meeting and we share with the family, bring the family together. Okay, guys, here are my plans, so that when the time comes, you guys know this is the plan. And I don't want you guys to have last minute arguments or last minute changes to my plan. So we're going to have a family meeting so that everything's on the table.
Right.
And I'm going to choose someone that I trust to carry it out for me without making those changes. So I think it is a great way for families to come together and communicate and plan for that legacy of love, as you said. Before we go on to the next question, I want to make sure that we know that we are liking and sharing this broadcast and entering into a drawing for a $25 cash giveaway on next Tuesday. Thank you, Mr. Watkins, for that contribution to the prize for this week's show. So please like and share the broadcast. Now, I have a question that came up from someone that emailed it to me, Mr. Watkins. It said, what happens if I pre-plan with the funeral home and I pay for everything and the funeral home goes out of business? What happens to my money or my plans if that were to happen?
Well, what happens, all our pre-plans are written through, it is funded through an insurance company. So when you have a pre-plan, it is funded through the insurance company. So if the funeral home was to go out of it, because again, pre pre-planned and pre-funded funeral is an insurance financial product. And so what happens is funded through the insurance company. And if the funeral home were to go out of business, you still have that policy, and as long as that policy is sold right. What I mean by that, you can't give nobody a pre-planned funeral and give them everything. Let's say for $1,000. In most instances, as long as it is done right and you do it the right way, you're writing it, it can transfer from funeral home to funeral home and from state to state. So your money is, like I said, the funeral home is the person that actually writes the pre-need contract, but the insurance company is the one that backs the contract.
Okay, that's good. So we're pre-planning and we're pre-paying, but it's funded through an insurance company.
Right. All our pre-arrangements are pre-funding for a pre-need is funded through an insurance company. And you come in the funeral home, you sit down, and what happens, like I said, you'll go through all of your services and you arrange what will have happen. And then, it's a factor that's based on your age and what have you. We tell you, you can pay a pre-need off in 10, 7, 5, 3, or 1 year. 10 being the longest because it is a financial product, an insurance product. Once that policy is paid up, it sits there and it waits until you expire. Of course, you have a 10-year plan, you can die in 3 years. It still will pay the whole pre-need funeral plan as if you live the whole 10 years. Like I say, but the great thing about it, if the funeral home were to go out of business, something was to happen, your money is still covered by the insurance company, and you can take it to another funeral home, and they are under that contract as long again as it is sold like it's not supposed to be sold.
Right. So we have to be very careful who we purchase the pre-funeral plans through, is what we're saying.
Right. You want to, most funeral homes, Karen, and most funeral homes are reputable. When I say that, makes it fine. If someone, the average funeral somewhere between maybe $7,000 to $10,000. If you go to a funeral home and they write you a pre-plan up with casket and all this services for $2,000, then 9 times out of 10, it's not going to fly, because you can't take to another funeral home and they're going to accept that, because I don't know how they, gave you $2,000. And then here's another thing: the insurance company, they're not going to look at that and say, now, how you going to do this? You can't sell a $7,000 funeral for $2,000 there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but the good thing about, like I say, with my company, I know all of my pre-need arrangements are funded through the insurance company. So that means that once you pay the initial premium to the funeral home, I forward that premium to the insurance company. The rest of your payments from that day going forward will be going to the insurance company. It won't be coming to the funeral home anymore. So that's
awesome.
All my contracts are written that way.
That's awesome. So if I choose Watkins Funeral Home, I will sit down with you and come and say, I'm planning it all out, and I want to start paying for it right now. So we would sit down and we would determine what that looks like, cost, tally it all up. I will make that deposit, and you will forward that to the insurance company, and my future payments would continue on through the insurance company that is funded through. Okay, great. That's good. That's good information. I know I have a friend who actually has already done that. I think him and his wife have done that with you.
Okay.
So I'm grateful for those opportunities and for you sharing that. So share with us, we're in this new COVID-19 coronavirus, new norm. What impact has COVID-19 had on the funeral industry, yours in particularly?
Well, I think, like with all the funeral homes, we had to make some adjustments. First, as far as families, typically funerals are done by a lot of people. We had to reduce the number of people we can see. When you come make arrangements, we only want to see now just 3 people. We understand, you may have 10 kids, but because of the social distance, what have you, we've done that part. Also, not so much affected us, but it affected the family, because here in Georgia, we're going to allow 10 people to attend the funeral.
Mm.
And so in the cemetery, it's doing the same thing. What we have done, we live stream all our services through our Facebook account, which give people opportunity to come and to enjoy the service or be with the family during the service while the service is going on. Now, as far as our viewing, where people want to come view people, we've got a little latitude there where we can let people come in a number of people. We just do it, we keep that social distancing. But for the actual funeral services, we can only allow 10 people to be, in our chapel to have a service. So it has, typical funerals are, you got a lot of kids, a lot of people, people, want to come, but they can't be with the family. So we tell people, just stream it online and you can watch it. If you want to sit in our parking lot and you're there with the family, you're not on the inside of the chapel. So we can make some adjustments with this COVID-19, and we're just changing with how everything has changed. We get our, from the CDC, and when they tell us something different, we try to adjust to that part. But it has been challenging, but we're professionals, and we're able to get the families through it to give them still get that loved one that kind of service that's dignified that needs to take place for them.
Right. I've had that conversation with my children, my daughters, and particularly just recently, and I said to them, if COVID-19 takes me out, we talk like this, they probably be like, Mom, here she goes again. If it takes me out, we know that we cannot celebrate the way your mom would like to be celebrated. So I want you guys to promise me that next year, the end of the year, that you will celebrate me the way that I desire to be celebrated. So they agreed. So they know, we've had that conversation, and I've written out my will and things of that nature. But, I laugh jokingly about it, but they know that I'm serious about it. Right. So, we know that things have changed and times have changed, and we may never see what we're used to seeing as it relates to our norm on any level. But it grieves my heart to see where we are today. But I'm grateful to know that, Watkins Funeral Home is still carrying on in a manner in which they would have done if they could have had everybody involved in the process. So, I thank you guys for that. I know you alluded to this a little bit earlier about cost, but share with us a little bit about cost for a funeral, an average funeral, if it's cremation or burial. Can you share a little bit about cost?
Well, I'm gonna go to first. I'll talk about cremation. Cremation, of course, will be the least expensive. That it will be the least expensive because there's no. Of course, cremation works three different ways. You have a direct cremation where the loved one is just picked up and paperwork is signed, authorization, and it's cremated. That's going to be the least expensive, but sometimes average between $1,000 maybe $1,500. Other part that a lot of people are doing is called a surgical cremation, where you actually have a funeral service where the body is present, put in a rental casket. Then after you have a service, and then it's cremated. Those services average between about $3,500 maybe to $4,500. And then the actual funeral service, funeral service and burial can be as expensive. But I tell you, the average funeral probably runs about $7,000. That's modest. It can get cheaper, and it all depends on what you're trying to do. And what people understand, the cemetery, the burial is a different part from the funeral home. And so if you want to put cemetery, the cemetery is normally average between $2,000 and $5,000. So an average funeral somewhere between $7,000 and with the burial somewhere between about $9,000. So somewhere between $7,000 and $9,000 for a burial as well as a funeral. Mm-hmm. So again, it all depends on when you're dealing with funerals. Their cost factor, what you're dealing with, programs, flowers, limousines, police escort, casket selections. Our caskets, they start at $500 and go up to $18,000. So, it's just all a matter of taste. That's why I tell you all the time, pre-planning, when a lot of people say, well, I won't start at Montgomery Cemetery. But if Anthony Watkins go pre-plan his own funeral, if Anthony Watkins wanted a $500 casket or a $5,000 casket. He's pre-planned that, and that's what he wanted. So nobody should be upset if he wanted to spend $5,000 casket. He has the money to do it. He had the money to do that. He paid for it. Then that's what he wanted, and that's what a pre-plan would do. It'll eliminate all that factor about debating on this casket too much, or don't put this money in the ground, or this service costs too much. But if you pre-plan it yourself, you pick your own goods out. Can't nobody argue, even though you're dead.
That's right.
Argue what you wanted because you paid for it, and that's the service you're gonna have down there.
I love it. I love it. And that's a part of getting your house in order. When we think about dotting the I's and crossing the T's, sitting down and planning for this part of our life, just like we plan for everything else, is just as important.
Yeah, that is true. Like if you plan, you plan for wedding, you plan for baby shower, you plan for trips, we plan for everything. Nobody really want to talk about, I guess, planning their death, but it is inevitable. We all gonna have, even me myself. I tell you, I don't have a carte blanche. I'm not gonna get out of here alive. So
right,
we all have to plan that. I have my service already planned. Even I'm in the funeral business, already planned. And so nobody wants to talk about it, but it's a conversation you can have. Because eventually it's going to come, and you're going to have to do it. So make it easy for your family. Just the kids don't want to talk about. Mama says she about child death or dad or death. Or nobody want to talk about that. But it's a conversation that needs to be had, because if you don't have it, then when something happens, now you got to try to figure it out and string along the way. You know what I mean? So just have it. It's inevitable. We all gonna die. We're gonna be able to rapture come. So
right,
either one. So go
exactly.
For one another. Yeah.
Right. And I heard someone say one time, pre-planning and paying for your funeral will allow your insurance money to stay in the house.
Right.
And so that will give the financial legacy to the family versus using that money to pay for the funeral. I thought, wow, I never thought about it like that. I wish that my husband and I had come to talk to you about pre-planning our funerals with you. Fortunately, he was a veteran, and so we had the privilege of using the National Cemetery in Canton, and I have the privilege of doing the same, and it's written in my my last will and testament as well. I just really wish we had done that. So I want to encourage the listeners to visit and have a conversation with Anthony Watkins or whomever you choose to have a conversation with about this topic, because it is that important. So, is there anything else you want to share with them before we bring Miss Shamika Jones in with this audience about pre-planning, funeral arrangements, burials, etc.? I know that, you made it so easy for us. It was just, the whole thing was just smooth, and I had a wonderful support system. I don't even know what I would have done if I hadn't had my 4 girlfriends and my family. I don't even know. And your company, I don't even know what I would have done, because I don't even remember some parts of it.
Yeah, I tell you all the time. I tell you, get to know whoever your funeral care professional. Get to know them like your barber, your beautician, your mechanic, your doctor. And then when something happens, you build a relationship. It's easy to call and then to walk in the funeral home sometimes, don't know who you're dealing with, and get to know them. Pre-planning, it is something that nobody wants to talk, like I said before, but it helps. Like you said, life insurance is an inheritance you leave to your family. We as African Americans, we believe that our life insurance should be what to bury us. Really, their life insurance is not. Well, you can't use it for burial, but that should be an inheritance you leave to your family, something you can pass down. You shouldn't say, well, if I got $10,000 life insurance, whatever you got, how much you have, I'm going to bury me. Well, if you have the financial means, your life insurance, again, should be an inheritance you leave to your family. Your pre-need, And your burial insurance will be something you take care of while you're living and pay for it while you're living, like you pay for a car or you pay for anything else. Go ahead and pay your funeral off. It's just sit there and wait, because you know you are going to die, or we are going to die one day. And that's sitting there. And let your life insurance be an inheritance you leave to your family. And I also like to tell people, if you have a life insurance policy, make sure you know that your beneficiary has no obligation to bury you. A lot of people believe that they have a beneficiary and that beneficiary is going to bury them. If you pass, your beneficiary has no obligation to bury you. It is not anything that funeral home can do to make a beneficiary sign those proceeds over to them. So make sure whoever you have, if you're going to use life insurance, that person is going to do right by you. And then by all means, do not make a child a beneficiary. That child's under 18 years old, and you make that child a beneficiary, there's nothing any funeral home can do about it, because the insurance company do not recognize a contract by a minor. So if you got a 12-year-old child that benefits your life insurance policy, and your life insurance policy is going to bury you, then your family going to raise some money to bury you, because that child cannot effect the contract. And then another thing, make sure make sure your beneficiary is going to do right by you, because if you die, the only obligation your beneficiary has is to get a death certificate and collect your funeral insurance proceeds. So that's the way I like to leave everybody. Just make sure your beneficiary, if you don't have a pre-need plan, your beneficiary is going to be a person you can trust that's going to use the money to take care of your burial, and then you won't have any problem. And make sure that if it's a child, that you have somebody else on there that can help, that's the part of the beneficiary, or that is over 18, that can effectuate a contract if you're going to use your life insurance for your burial policy.
And you know, I had to use our life insurance policy for burial for Winston, and it's because we didn't take the time to sit down with you and talk about pre-needs. In our office, you remember our office was down the street from your funeral home for years.
Yeah,
but we were busy doing life, and I tell people all the time, sometimes you can just be busy doing life that you forget to take the time to really handle life's important business. And this is one of those important business matters that must be handled.
Right, that's true. I tell you, it's like everything else. It's nobody thinks about death, but it is inevitable, and we just got to sit down and do it. It's a hard conversation. I don't know, a hard conversation. It is a conversation, I guess, but you need to have that conversation one way or the other, so your family can know what your needs are. Then tell your family another thing. I know you tell your family where all your insurance and your important papers are located at, so they can know that. If you got safe deposit box, put somebody else on the safe deposit box with you. Let your family know I have a pre-need with John Doe Funeral Home. They have it there. Here's the information card. And so when that happens, they won't have to be scrambling about, where all this stuff is at. Yeah, so it's like I said, I always use my mom. When she passed, we've been in this business a long time. And we knew exactly where her stuff was at and what she wanted. And it made it so much easier. That's what happens. Everybody's going to be calling you. Everybody want to come by this and that. And so you got to try to say, I got to go take care of that funeral. Do it while you're living, and it makes it easy for your family there. Really easy.
Yes, I so appreciate you for having this conversation. And I know that somebody listening is going to take your advice and run with it to get their affairs in order in this area of their life. And so, as you said, if there's a minor child that you left as a beneficiary, make sure that, you have some provisions for someone else to be able to handle those affairs so that, things can continue or things can be taken care of. People probably don't even think about that,
right.
Making sure that they have somebody that's, and even a trust, creating a trust for the monies from that life insurance policy for that underage child, so that they can, have that money, and maybe it can grow or can take care of them properly over the years that they have left as a child, so that the money is there to do what you would have done with them, take care of them.
Right.
And so these are tough conversations, but they must be had. And I'm hoping that people will sit down and have those conversations with their loved ones and put things in place so that their affairs are in order. They can find those documents, and it's an easy process for them.
Right.
So thank you, thank you, thank you. So you're going to continue to stay with us as we bring Miss Shamika Jones in to share with us about her recent loss with her father and what that has been like, or what it has been like, the journey of preparing for his transition for her family. So again, thank you, my friend, for sharing your wisdom and your experience. And I so appreciate you. And to you, the audience, please like and share this broadcast. As you all know, each week we give away a $25 cash prize, and it will be done next Tuesday through a virtual drawing. And it is the people who like and share the post during the broadcast. During the broadcast will be entered into that drawing. So like and share the broadcast. We want the information to get out to the masses. This is not something that we are doing just for the fun of it. There is no compensation here. This is merely a purpose-driven opportunity to share with you, and hopefully your family members and yourself will be benefactors of our sacrifice to share. So we thank you for watching. Please like and share the broadcast. And so now we will bring in Miss Shamika A. Jones to join us. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good, good, good. I am glad that you found the strength to join us tonight in light of the recent passing of your father. So my sincere condolences again to you and your family. And my prayers are with you, as you know, and I am here in whatever capacity that I can assist you and comfort you during this time.
Thank you.
So with that being said, I would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, greetings, everyone. My name is Shamika Jones. I am a business management consultant, been in consulting past 15 years. My business is Mainspring Business Group, which I offer project management, business process management, as well as business analyst support. Kenita, thank you for inviting me to do this. And you open this door for me because I know there are many people, you think your parents have everything. As an adult, you think your parents have already worked out everything and you don't have to worry about anything. About 8 years ago, my father had a light stroke and he and my mother were divorced. So I had to come up to check up on him. And that is when I learned that he didn't have anything in place. So at that time, we had a family discussion, my parents and my two brothers. And we asked mom and dad, what do they want? And we got their health directives. I got the paperwork drawn up for their health directives. Both of them decided for a DNR. We got power of attorney in case one of them developed dementia or something where they were incapacitated and we couldn't take care of their business. We got those paperwork drawn up and we got it notarized. And we put it in the safe deposit box for when we needed them. Mm-hmm. So 2 years ago, I moved my father here to Georgia from Florida because he got sick again. And when I put him in the nursing home in January, we were okay. We knew we had everything in place. We knew that if something happened at the nursing home, they knew what his health directive was. We already had that. As far as preparing to pay for funeral services, we already had a policy in place. And my brother and I were over that. So we had the finances to take care of that when he expired this week. So what I would suggest to family members is have those family discussions, especially if you are adult children. Sometimes we think our parents have everything together, and sometimes they don't. And we need to ask them. Mm-hmm. And if not, take the initiative to begin drawing up paperwork to have things to make sure you're able to take care of family business. One of the reasons I moved swiftly to get that health directive and power of attorney for my parents, because a couple of years earlier, my grandmother passed. And my mother and her siblings did not have a power of attorney to take care of property and going through probate. So
Mhm.
the headache that they had preparing for all that. And when Dad got sick, I automatically remember I don't want to go through that. So that's what sparked up that conversation.
That's awesome. And as Anthony said, and I've said many times before, have the tough conversations. Sit around the table, the elephant in the room, let's discuss it. Let's get past it, do what's necessary so that we can be at peace when the time arrives that we'll need all of those things that we have handled, because we will need them. Somebody, if it's not us and we're gone before our parents, somebody is going to need that information to be able to move forward in caring for the final wishes of our loved ones. So it is necessary.
And
So
even for myself, Miss Shanita, I have a manila envelope with all of the details of my accounts, money market accounts, account numbers, that my beneficiaries, they have all that information. So there's no accounts that may have been overlooked that they don't know where money is, or access to information. I've made it all available.
exactly. And we had that discussion last week with the banker. People have and I'll say it again, you may have a secret bank account. We talk about that, but it's true. So
Yeah.
if you have a secret bank account and nobody knows about that bank account but you, and you die, what happens to that money if nobody knows about it but you? So we have to make sure that we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's, and we go to that bank in that situation and list somebody to pay upon death.
Yes.
You with me? So keep
Yes.
your secret, but handle your business.
Yes.
List somebody on there to pay that money to upon your death. So, I just want to make sure we are truly, 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 truly thinking about, planning for all of these areas of our lives, because we think that we're living our best life. And I really thought I was living my best life until June 30th, 2015, when my husband laid down to say goodnight and I love you and kissed me and collapsed right there in front of my face. I thought we were living our best life, and it ended right there. The opportunity as a couple to get our affairs in order no longer existed, because 21 days later, I had to make a decision to take him off the respirator, and he took his last breath within seconds. There was no more opportunity for us as a couple to get our affairs in order. But we were living our best life because we were having the time of our life, but we did not take the time to handle our business. So I am pushing this agenda until the day I die, because God said I needed to. Once I got past my embarrassing stage, because I was truly embarrassed. How could this couple who looked like they had it together, this minister, this advocate in the community, not have their stuff together? And God said, oh, so you think it's about you? It's not about you. So he had to chastise me in that way. And so I'm grateful that he did, because what I am doing is going to help other people. I can't even begin to tell you guys how many people come back and say, thank you for that conversation. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for pushing me, or what have you. So I'm grateful that I had to go through this journey to get to this place. So I'm grateful that we're having this conversation. I'm grateful that, Anthony took some time to join us, and you took some time to join us in light of losing your father. And I'm hoping that you'll have something that you want to share with the audience, Shamika, before we prepare to close out. Anything you want to share?
I encourage family members to have those family discussions. Don't be afraid to share your wishes, and don't hold back, because when you do, you leave doubt for the family members. And when that time comes to make plans, everyone have their opinion of what they thought you wanted. Please be clear on your wishes.
Amen. Anthony?
Well, just to echo again what Shanita said, is true. It's not. I don't know if it's a hard conversation, just a conversation you got to have, and just make sure that everybody knows where everything is. Like I say, banks. everything. You write it down. Like I said, you don't.
Yeah.
That money gonna go back to the government. They can't get a claim to somebody. They gonna do something with it down there. So you kept it hid all them years in the secret. There, the government
Yeah.
gonna be there. So I think if we, as African Americans, I always say African American, we learn to just document our stuff, let people know where stuff is at, take care of our business. That's our final days here on earth. Have those directives, D, and all that kind of stuff. There, it just, I think it, based on my experiences, it makes it so much easier for the family because no one is guessing them. This is what they want to have happen. If you want to be cremated, just tell your family, I want to be cremated. And there's no, because, I've seen times when people say, no, mama didn't believe in cremated. Well, she told me, just let everybody know, look, I want to be cremated. I want to be buried. You tell them, and then when that time comes, because that time is going to come.
It's coming.
Everybody know. And nobody got to be leading to wondering what their mama, dad, sister, brother, cousin want. It just makes it easy. A tough conversation, just have it. And the funeral home of your choice will make sure they get it carried out for you down there.
And we hope that will be Watkins.
Yeah, we hope that will be
Watkins. Jonesboro.
Yeah, Anthony Watkins on Jonesboro.
We hope that will be Watkins in Jonesboro.
You should always call the best. I just throw that plot in. But all my colleagues in this business out there, we all try to, provide. But if I have to toot my own horn, it's a sorry dog don't wag his own tail. So
that's right.
Hopefully Watkins funeral home Jonesboro.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm hoping that you will be their choice. And Shamika, I'm hoping that you guys will continue to be confident during this time. I'm hoping that people will call you and find out more about your consulting, your analyst business. We'll check out your website that's listed right there. And hopefully, because you guys know I love to network. Yeah. If nobody knows me, they know. If you know me, you know I love to network. So I want to put people out there so people can see resources that are available to them. So you guys are two great resources that I'm delighted to have tonight. And I thank you again for sharing. I thank you again for being transparent. Shamika, as I said earlier, you guys are in my prayers. And I want to make sure I tell Raven that strawberry cake was on point.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm grateful for that. And Anthony, I thank you for the donation for the $25 giveaway this week. I can't even begin to tell you how appreciative I am to you for the years. This is year 5 for my Life After the Rain Widow and Widowers event. Well, this year we won't be able to host it at TGI Fridays because of COVID-19. So I have been creatively thinking about ways to celebrate my widows and widowers this year for year 5. So I have some great ideas. And so, I'll be calling you to share those great ideas with you.
I know you will.
I thank you.
I've been part of it for 5 years. Just keep it going. Yeah,
keep it going. Can you believe that it's been 5 years?
I know it's been 5 years, but yeah, I guess you're right. It has been that long down here.
5 years. 5 years. 5 years. So
let me know what I can do.
I will.
Let me know.
I will. I'm so grateful that God has sustained me during this journey, and having people in my life like you and Shamika and so many other people continue to just give me life, and I'm able to continue to give others life. So I'm grateful. So as we get ready to close out, I'm going to, if there's anything else you guys want to share, you can do that now. If not, I will close you guys out and finish the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for liking. Thank you all for sharing. Most importantly, thank you all for getting your affairs in order. These weekly conversations are not just a conversation just to take up time. After working 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, taking the time out, I deem it necessary to have a voice. I have been preparing for this day for a long time. My desire is to one day meet Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. one day to have my own stage play, one day to have my own documentary, and I am hoping that my life will not be in vain, that the sacrifices made to help other people in some way will be appreciated. So with that being said, I hope that you guys will contact Mr. Watkins at Watkins Funeral Home, Jonesboro. I'll put his information back on the screen. You will contact him and sit down with him just like you would the financial planner, the banker, the lawyer, the life insurance agent, and have a conversation with him about your pre-funeral plans. In addition to that, I hope that you will join us next week as we talk with a medical doctor about the advanced medical directive and how that also plays a major role in getting your affairs in order. These conversations in this mini series is about getting your house in order. I wrote the book, Is Your House in Order? And there are many resources in that book because I believe that we are just not to write a book, but we are to make sure that we provide an opportunity for people to do just that, get their house in order. And so I am hoping that you will take the time, make the necessary steps to get your affairs in order in all of those areas. As I said earlier, next week will be advanced medical directives. What are they? Why are they necessary? And so to end this show, please like and share the broadcast. Please remember to make time for what matters. Your family will be grateful that you did. Let's prepare for the inevitable because we all will go that way at some point. Let's embrace the fact that one day we must all depart this earth. Please continue to email your questions each Wednesday to prepare for the show on Thursday. This week, the topic was pre-planning funeral needs. Next week, what is an advanced medical directive? I want to thank you again for journeying with me. I want to thank those who continue to support me in this effort. The calls, the night conversations, the feedback, the criticism, constructive criticism, because I think is necessary in order for us to grow. We have to be receptive to constructive criticism. Thank you again for joining us. As always, we appreciate you being a part of this broadcast each week. If you're watching it live or you're watching a replay, I pray that it will penetrate something in your heart to move you to action to get your affairs in order. Tonight's topic is on funerals. You can go back and watch any of the previous weeks in the replay, and hopefully something has been said that will be a blessing to you. I'm hoping that you will purchase a copy of my book, Is Your House in Order? It can be purchased on Amazon for $19.99, or you can purchase it at a discount of $5. It is $14.99 if you purchase it through me, and it would be an autographed copy. You can contact me at my email address here, scottshanita@aol.com. And yes, I still use AOL. Yes, I do. Please email me your questions there. You can contact me there. You can contact me via Facebook Messenger. Any of my posts, I make myself available. I'm a licensed certified life coach, and I'll make myself available to assist you in any way that I can. And if I can't assist you, I will find a way to get a resource for you. Always remember that God loves you more than I do, and I certainly love you. And I want to remind you again, Watkins Funeral Home, Jonesboro. Information is listed right there at the bottom of the screen. Please take the time to visit Mr. Watkins. Sit down and have a conversation with him or his staff members about your desires. If he's not your funeral home of choice, there are many others to choose from. If you're not in Georgia, in this area, wherever you live, take the time to have the conversation with your family members as you prepare to get your house in order. Please tune in each week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, whatever you decide, it is important that you make a decision. You can decide to pay for a funeral in advance or not, but it's always a good idea to pre-plan. It allows your family members to know exactly what your wishes are, and it takes the stress and strain off of them. It is also a way to leave a gift of love, a legacy of love, and a peace of mind that everything is taken care of. And remember, if you decide to do a pre-planning and pay for your services in advance, it is funded through an insurance company, as Mr. Watkins said earlier. So we want to thank you again for joining us tonight. We want to thank you, more importantly, for taking the time to get your affairs in order. We thank you for having me in your space. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your continued encouragement. And remember, if you'd like a copy of Is Your House in Order, please let me know. I have copies here, and I have copies of my second book, Abiding Love. If you'd like a copy, again, please reach out to me. Please like and share the broadcast each week. And even after this broadcast is over, please share it. And always remember, it may not be for you, but it could be for someone else. And so sometimes we have to think about, we may have all of our stuff in order, but does our neighbor, or does our sister, our brother, our coworker, and we can share this, and that's a gift to them too. So we want to thank you again for joining us this evening. I want to thank you all for liking and sharing, those who have. And I want to just thank you for taking the time to get your house in order. That is my goal, is for everyone to take the time to have the conversation and do what's necessary to get their affairs in order. Not only that, I want to see us live a vibrant life beyond life's challenges, because we all will be faced with them at some point in time in our life. But how we overcome them is really the true test of who we are. And so I thank God. This is almost 5 years for me that I've lost my husband, and it's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him and don't wish that my life was different, but it isn't different. And I have to accept what it is, and I have to continue to live a vibrant life. The opposite of life is death, and I'm not ready to go yet. I know that I will go one day, but I'm not ready to go just yet. So thank you guys again for joining us, and I hope to see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed and continue to dot your I's and cross your T's on this journey. We thank you.
When I'm the midst of sorrow, you can see how when looking down. A brighter day, tomorrow will bring. Oh, Just hold on to your dreams. When things around you